What's going on, everybody? Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. And I'm having a good time out here. Things are going well. I'm not a big traveler, as most of you guys probably know. I'm not somebody who travels a lot, but had an opportunity to do something pretty cool with my brother. So I'm out here, Arizona. Things are going great. And I'll tell you, the Seahawks have cooperated. They haven't really done anything big since I left. They've had a couple of minor signings, a couple of things that are worth a minute or two of discussion, but nothing that really requires a lot of attention. So that's kind of been nice. I haven't had to really think about that. So I've just kind of been able to chill and take it in. And I've been able to just kind of get by on posting those videos over the last several days that were pre-recorded, the draft videos. But there is one thing I guess is worth spending a couple minutes on. This video is powered by BetUS TV. Yeah, it's on screen. I'm sure you guys have already seen it by now. It's over here to, well, my right, but from your perspective, my left. Um, just a little proposal that has been picking up steam, and I want to be very clear here. This video is not meant to imply there's any credibility to this rumor. It's just to talk about whether or not it's a good idea. I want to be very clear about that. I don't think there's any reason to believe this is going to happen based on the information we have. Maybe it has slightly more grounds in reality than a completely random trade you could generate using a literal player name and team generator. But other than that, I don't think there's any reason to believe this is actually in the process of occurring. But this proposal from a sports writer, I think it's a Roten. I don't know a lot about Roten personally, but he suggested that the Seahawks could reunite Pete Carroll in Vegas with another of his former players, that player being Ken Walker. So the trade that was proposed and the trade that people are now kind of talking about, man, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands now that I'm at this angle. God, I can't wait to get back to my normal setup. Anyway, what he proposed was the Seahawks send Ken Walker to Vegas, and Vegas sends back a sixth round pick. Now, I think that the problem is relatively evident just from me saying the compensation. But let's talk about this for a few minutes because even independent of this, which to be clear is just a proposal, I don't even really think this qualifies as a rumor yet. I get a lot of comments in stream chat and on videos talking about the Seahawks needing to trade Ken Walker. So let's talk about it for a few minutes here. I think that that compensation is the number one thing that we need to start with here as to why I don't think trading Ken Walker makes sense. And I want to be clear about that right now. That's where I'm coming down on here. Trading Ken Walker doesn't really make all that much sense. You're not going to get anything for him right now. Like that trade proposal, sixth round pick is actually probably about what you would get. Maybe you could get a fifth round pick from somebody somewhere. Ken Walker's coming off a season where he didn't really do anything. Ken Walker's coming off a season where he got hurt like two separate times, and he really wasn't that productive even when he did play. The best you can say about him is that he had a lot of touchdowns, but they were all like short yardage touchdowns. So who's even really all that excited about that? And as a running back coming off a season like that, when he's never been that durable to begin with, you're getting like a fifth or sixth round pick. Do you really care about that much? Before I go any further, I do want to talk a little bit about the guys over at BetUS TV. What do you guys, I mean, who of the players that the Seahawks have picked up so far do you like the best? Which pickup do you like the best so far of the Seahawks' big ones? You got Cooper Kupp, veteran wide receiver, former Super Bowl MVP, had maybe one of the, I would go so far as to say probably the greatest single season ever by any wide receiver. Cooper Kupp. You've got Sam Darnold coming off a great year in Minnesota, put up Pro Bowl numbers, made the Pro Bowl, got the Vikings to 14 wins. And then you got DeMarcus Lawrence, who put together a great decade-plus long career with the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you think was our best pickup so far? Something to ponder as we move through the rest of this offseason, knowing that there may not be a lot more that happens, but Who do you guys think was the best pickup? Okay, so back to the Ken Walker conversation here. So that's number one. You're just not going to get anything real for him. Like a sixth round pick would probably be about right. And I got to ask, is anybody sitting there thinking I got to have me another sixth round pick? I don't think so. And if you do, you should probably understand that we're talking about lottery tickets here, man. Like, top 100 picks are one thing, but once you get down to like, you're not even talking top 200 maybe in the sixth round. That's a lottery ticket, man. And we know how good Walker can be when given the right opportunity and put in the right situation. He's not the best running back in the league, but we know how good he can be. I think that's worth more than a lottery ticket, which is all you get for Ken Walker. Remember, I don't think it was ever the plan to extend him anyway. So if you're worried about losing him for nothing next year when he walks in free agency, that was probably the intention to begin with, and it's okay. Honestly, the compensatory pick we get when we let him walk if he has a good season is probably better than whatever we could get trading him now. And I think the most important thing here, the thing that I really don't understand, especially about this trade proposal, Ken Walker is a great fit for the Kubiak scheme. The outside zone running scheme, that fits Ken Walker really well. That is something that Ken Walker should be able to thrive in. So I don't know why we would bail on the Ken Walker experiment right after we got a guy that is kind of tailor-made for utilizing him, right? We're basing him off this one season with Ryan Grubb, who I think we've learned Ryan Grubb was just the nut low. The more time we put between us and the Ryan Grubb hire, the more we are learning that that guy was just completely like not even like he's not a good play caller. He's just it almost sounds like he just wasn't very smart and he wasn't very personable. He wasn't likable. It sounds like he was the full package of bad. It really does. Like it's kind of unbelievable how he failed at pretty much every level. If you look at what DK Metcalf has had to say recently when talking about him, when you take a look at what it's done to this team, there may not be a more toxic Seahawk since Jim Mora Jr. at this rate. I mean, that's where we're headed. We're going to need some time to really understand it, but man. But anyway, you got Kubiak in here who's tailor-made to work with a guy like Ken Walker. And you know who he's really not tailor-made to work with is a guy like Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet's, I think that he can fit in some of Kubiak's stuff because Kubiak does multiple things like any half-decent offensive coordinator. But his style doesn't really fit the outside zone that Kubiak is going to want to do. So you trade K9, now you're giving your offensive coordinator a running back that doesn't really fit the main stuff that he wants to do. And by the way, that gets us over to the Raiders side of things. I mean, granted, I don't know exactly how it's going to work over there, right? You've got Pete Carroll. He loves A-gap stuff. He likes to run it up A-gap and B-gap. That's why he loved Marshawn Lynch so much. That's why it was never a perfect fit between him and Walker. So I don't know why Carroll would heavily covet that personally. Maybe Chip Kelly. I mean, Chip Kelly would probably look at K9 and be like, hey, I could get some great stuff out of it here. Which makes me wonder, what is the relationship between head coach and offensive coordinator going to be in Vegas, given that you have somebody as controlling as Pete Carroll, and then you have somebody as prestigious as Chip Kelly coming off that national championship. So I don't know exactly how that is going to pan out, but bottom line is, from our perspective, it doesn't make sense. So I just wanted to spend a few minutes on that because it's the one thing going on with the Seahawks right now that's actually like meaningful. And I know that people are down on K9 right now, and I think rightfully so. He hasn't been there when we've needed him over the last year. He's shown talent. He's shown great ability, but it's been frustrating. And I don't think he's going to be here that much longer, but I think that his value to this team in 2025, playing on it, is worth more than any draft pick you could get for him right now. Again, he just doesn't have value. The fact that somebody put together a trade proposal where all we get is a sixth round pick for him says all you need to know. And even if he's wrong, how much is he wrong by? You're getting a fifth round pick instead. That's not exciting to me either. That doesn't move the needle. That's just another pick. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. So, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it right now. I don't know why people want to burn everything down with this team right now, to be perfectly honest. Some people are going to argue we already did. Well, if that's the plan, then you shouldn't have signed so many veteran players. You shouldn't have signed guys like Cooper Kupp and DeMarcus Lawrence if you were just going to burn it down. That's how I feel about it. So if you're going to go for it, then you got to try to keep something. There are babies in that bathwater. There are a lot of them. We won 10 games last year. I just see all these people so eager to get rid of every single element of the team last year, which, sorry, that's not something I'm ever going to support. That's not something that I'm ever going to agree with. Is if this team had won like 4 games last year, that's different. But there is some stuff on this team that is good, and I'd rather try to get good things out of it rather than just getting more lottery tickets. All right, I'm going to go and get out of here. Just wanted to spend a little bit of time on that. Thank you to BetUS TV for powering this video. And yeah, that's all that's going on at the moment. See you guys later. Go Hawks.